Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to whomever from wherever and whenever you're watching this video. I thank you. This is the One Bry Guy slash Zilly Burble, and wow, what a week of pro football. I mean, there were a lot of good fucking games this past Sunday. I mean, don't really want to count the Thursday nighter between the Panthers and the Falcons. Like, Carolina won that by the final score of what? I got it written down here. And I just had it at the top of my head. I already looked at it once. There it is. Yep. Carolina won by 10. 25-15. So, yeah, that was a close game for all intents purposes. But let's be honest. The Panthers really ain't going anywhere. And I don't know what to make of you, Atlanta. Like, I keep son of a bitch. Like, don't the Falcons kind of do this every year? They start out bad, then they get good for a little bit, and then when everybody wants to start to believe in them, they turn back to shit. So I don't fucking know. Like, I'm about done with the fucking Falcons and the Panthers. Yeah, whatever. This is like a week after they just got their butts handed to them by Cincinnati, and I don't know, Atlanta. I about had my fill of you, so whatever. Your season's done as far as I'm concerned. You ain't going anywhere anyway. Neither are the Carolina Panthers. So, again, like, a lot of good freaking games this past weekend in the National Football League. And probably the three that are highlighted the most. And I guess from the bronze to the gold, bronze goes to the Lions, come from behind win, stunning the Bears by 1. I mean, take that as you will. Both teams aren't going to see the playoffs, but still, that was quite a thriller. And I'll touch more on that a little bit later. Probably the best one, the silver game. The Packers coming from behind to stun the Cowboys in overtime. And of course, the one that gets the gold medal, the Vikings' stunning win over the Bills in overtime. Wow. I mean, everyone's calling it the game of the year, and why the hell not? Because, damn, it started out looking like the Bills were going to run all over the Vikings, and, well, Minnesota had better ideas. We'll touch more on that later. Because I know the one game that probably stands out just as much as any of the other ones, and I bet you all were expecting me to start off in an explosive, pissed off, out of control fan rage. Yes, I know. The fucking Washington Commanders handed the Eagles their first loss of the season. I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't watch this game in real time. I was dead fucking tired from work. We're kind of short a guy where I work right now, so I had to pull double time, so I was too fucking dead tired. But I was checking the score before I dozed off. It was 14-7 Philadelphia when I dozed off, and then when I woke up, first thing I did was check the score, and I actually laughed. I was stunned, but I wasn't that stunned. So let's clarify a few things. Yes. Now, as an Eagles fan, believe me, I am fucking deep down, I was irate that they lost to Washington. But here's the thing, though, folks. Is it really that bad they lost to the Washington Commanders? I mean, let's put a little perspective behind it, folks. I think the Commanders they definitely played the underdog role. They played with a chip on their shoulder, and I give them credit where credit's due, and I give them the respect they deserve. They clearly outplayed the Eagles. Maybe not, well, I could say from start to finish. Statistically, yeah, the Commanders dominated the Eagles, statistic-wise. But if you look at the game from an overall perspective like I do, I mean, I watched the highlight package after I got done looking at the score, and I calmed down enough to know to a point where I knew I could handle watching the highlights. In real time, oh yeah, I probably would have been like screaming at the TV, especially when the officials missed that face mask call. and they just say, we plain didn't see it. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's that's how you want to play it. We'll touch on that a little bit, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, Washington did kind of expose the Eagles a little bit, or you could say this. It was two divisional opponents, and I half expected it to be a close game. Okay? I had a gut feeling that this would be a trap game. And that of course in my head, I still had the Eagles coming out on top. Like I had a final score of 24-20. So I wasn't too far off. I mean, yeah, the Commanders did get one more touchdown off of that botched on that fumble play where they were trying to throw it around and hopefully make something happen, but those are garbage points. I don't count that. But let's look at it this way. All right? Even though it felt like the Eagles were shooting themselves in the foot a lot, or you could say the Commanders clearly had their number that night, the Eagles weren't out of it. From what I saw in the highlights, the Eagles were still playing their brand of football. I mean, I can't be too upset. I mean, I am, but I can't be irate, crazy Philadelphia Eagles fan upset. Because they had a chance. They had multiple chances to come back and win that game. They kept fighting. Like, even though when, they lost the lead and Washington had, Washington was up, I mean, hey, come on, let's give the Birds a little bit of credit. Sure, yeah, the defense looked like they were getting run over and exposed, but they still made the stops when they had to, keeping Washington to field goals and giving the offense every opportunity they needed to just take the lead. So, yes, as much as it sucks, I was happy to see the Birds not completely fall flat on their face. They got back up and kept dealing the punches, kept trying to fight and get back in it. So I was happy to see that. They kept their fucking composure. Of course, yes, Brandon Graham's hit on Heineke, I mean, he came out and said, bad move on his part. Shit happens. By that point, though, Washington had the game pretty well in hand, but still, I think it was one of those ticky-tack calls. But, forget that. Here's the thing. Forget the penalty on Brandon Graham. Forget Watkins' fumble where, he was wide open and he got hit from behind and lost the ball, and that pretty much kind of gave all the momentum to Washington. But, let's go to the missed face mask call. I swear, the officials make the right call. That fumble doesn't happen. Unfortunately, they probably still lose Goddard. And yeah, I mean, I saw the injury report. He's going to be out for several weeks. Let's see. Did I not write that down? What he has? Oh my God. I thought I did. Oh, there it is. Yep. Just an undisclosed shoulder injury. So we're going to lose, the Eagles are going to miss Goddard for a few weeks. That's going to suck because I don't know how long Maddox is going to be out. I know he wasn't in the game. But, hey, step up, step up mentality. Let's do it. Let's see. Do I got the rookie written down here? Stotes or something? Right here. What's this kid's name? Jack Stoll. So, I mean, he's gotten some time in with the first unit. He's made a few grabs. So, hey, should be nothing new. Remember 2017 where half the team went down due to injury, but everybody stepped up, made their play, did their part, and hey, look what happened. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. So, Yeah, I mean, if everyone expected me to go on a full rant about, how the Eagles looked bad or never should have lost this game, it's fucking Washington. Like I said, give Washington some respect, folks. I mean, it's not like they're the fucking Texans. I mean, for crying out loud, since Tyler Heineke took over the reins, the Commanders have been playing better football. They have pieces. I mean, look at that McLaurin guy. Is that his name? Is that how you pronounce it? Terry McLaurin. Yeah, that guy exposed Slay badly. Like, I hate to say it, but Slay got exposed bad that night. I mean, damn. That McLaurin, they just couldn't stop his ass for nothing. He had over 8 receptions for 128 yards. Yeesh. And, people want to say that Hurts kind of looked pedestrian, but his numbers are fine. I mean, him and Heineke, for the most part, kind of have the same numbers. Both have 17 completions over 25 attempts. Only Heineke is over 200 yards, but Hurts is at 175. Now, the difference is Hurts has 3 touchdowns overall, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Sounds like a good old Hurts game to me. Heineke had 1 interception. That really should have been the difference maker and got the Eagles the win, but like I said, and you know what? It's part of the game. The officials, they're not perfect, and they're going to pull some kind of bullshit that fucks someone over, and they'll have a bitch-ass excuse for it. But I would like to bring up, I guess the coaches can't challenge what should have been a penalty. I'm not entirely certain about that. I really didn't look up the rules because that's just a total headache in itself. But I feel like if it ain't part of the rules, I feel like it needs to be addressed this off season. Give the coaches any opportunity they need to challenge something that they feel is not right. Because that should have been a face mask call. The ball would have stayed with the Eagles, and they possibly would have won the game. That literally kind of turned the whole thing upside down on them. Forget everything that happened prior to that point. It's a division game. No one should have underestimated the Washington Commanders. Like I said, since Heineke took over, they've been playing better football. They're a competitive team, definitely worthy of a wild card spot. Although I don't know if they're going to get it from San Francisco. I highly doubt it. The Giants are too hot right now at 7-2. I mean, Dallas, could I see them flopping? You never know with the Cowboys. But yeah, if anyone is that surprised by this upset, don't. It is not that surprising. And I tell you what, I can't believe I'm saying it. Part of me is kind of glad it happened now. I mean, it's a weird thing to say as an Eagles fan. You never want to see them lose to a division rival because it's like, damn, they could have done something, I mean, they already did do something, the first 8-0 start in Eagles history, but, you get greedy and you want to see them do more and you start imagining them actually performing like an incredible feat like the first team to go 17-0 in the regular season, which would eclipse the Patriots, and possibly going, dare I say, 20-0. You imagine that? A team going 20-0 this day and age? Well, the Eagles got about a third of the way there. That's about it. But it is what it is. So I think, if anything, during the offseason, that the NFL, the competition committee, the rules committee, whoever is responsible for, when it comes to coaches being able to challenge whatever, I feel like that needs to be addressed. Because it's that one missed call that royally fucked the Eagles. Like I said, overall, I didn't really see too many problems with the Birds. It's to be expected. I mean, they did kind of struggle with Houston a little bit. And here Washington capitalized on opportunities. But like I said, it's kind of glad this is kind of a good thing that happened now so that the Eagles can work those kinks out and beat the living fuck out of the rest of their schedule. Because I feel bad for the Colts. That should be their revenge game. Plus, hopefully they'll sweep the Giants now, because I fully expected the Giants to be the first loss. So hopefully they'll sweep the Giants and beat the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. So that way, that would be a sweep against Dallas. That's right. I'd rather a split with Washington than Dallas. So we'll see what happens. It's a great, we take it with a grain of salt and we move on. Overall, it's still a good, fun, entertaining game. But like I said, definitely not as good as the three I had mentioned earlier. So let's go ahead and start getting to those. Capping the other games that happened on Sunday. So the first NFL game to be held in Munich, Germany, looks like Brady's catching his mid-late season swagger like he normally does every freaking time. Everybody wants to count him out. There's something going on we think is messing with his mind, or father time's catching up with him. I guess, the divorce with his ex-wife now, I guess that spurred him into starting to play better again, as well as the rest of the Bucs. And they beat the red-hot Seahawks and Geno Smith 21-16. And I think I saw a stat where Tom Brady is now the first quarterback to win an NFL game in 4 different countries. I mean, at this point, what hasn't Tom Brady done at the quarterback position that will never be eclipsed ever again? I mean, definitely going to happen for a good while. We got the Titans beating the Broncos 17-10. Ryan Tannehill's first game back, and wow. I was actually kind of shocked this game was even close, but I really shouldn't be that shocked. It's not like Tennessee's got an explosive offense anymore. I mean, it's mainly Derrick Henry's show, but Titans did what they had to do, which is good because it would have been really bad if they lost to the Broncos. This was probably the only game that was literally one-sided. The Dolphins blowing out the Bills 39-17. Steelers get a win in New Orleans, beating the Saints 20-10. And here we go. Here we are at the Bronze game. The Detroit Lions coming from behind to stun the arch-rival Bears by a point, 31-30. This is the first time the Lions have won back-to-back games since 2020. This also snaps a 13 road game losing streak for the Lions. And how about this for a fun fact? The last time the Lions, hold on. Yeah, as I was saying, this snaps a 13-game losing streak on the road for the Lions. Their last road win was at Chicago, December 2020. Oh, you gotta love those little fun facts you read about. Let's see. I don't want to talk about that yet. That's the gold game. The New York Giants, they too had a little trouble handling Houston, just like the Eagles did. But the Giants prevailed again, 24-16. So another scrappy bunch you can't really sleep on. And speaking of the Houston Texans, that's who's on the Washington Commanders schedule this coming weekend. And I swear to God, Washington, you fuckers lose to Houston, that is what will piss me off. That is what will piss me off, is if the Commanders start to play like shit for the rest of the fucking year. They play their fucking A card to upset the Eagles and spoil their bid for a perfect season, and then turn around and then, play garbage for the rest of the year. That is what will piss me off. So the Commanders better beat fucking Houston within a margin of, say, maybe 8 to 10 points. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out. Maybe they will. Who the fuck knows? Excuse me, I need a drink. But Washington better not lose this fucking game. Because then that makes the Eagles' loss look even uglier. Of course, it could be that triangle effect. The Eagles beat the Texans. The Commanders beat the Eagles. So the Texans will beat the Commanders. That better not happen. Let's see. The Chiefs beat the Jaguars. That was to be expected. Although a little closer than what I thought it would have been. Chiefs prevail in the end either way, 27-17. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, everybody can get off the Eagles' case about losing to the Commanders. Because like I said, it was a divisional opponent who has been playing better down the stretch. Unlike the Chiefs who lost to the godforsaken Colts. Fair enough? Oh yeah, speaking of the Colts. Jeff Saturday, in his inaugural debut as the interim head coach for the Colts, a guy that's got no prior coaching experience except for the high school level, but fresh out of the freaking broadcast booth, coaches his team in a come-from-behind win against the Vegas Raiders, 25-20. I think I read this is the third time the Raiders have blown a 17-point lead this season, but they have no intention of letting Josh McDaniels go. They plan on honoring his contract at least through next season. Yeah, you know what I say? Heard that line before. They keep playing badly, he's out. Like, you can't let this mediocrity continue, especially for an organization like the Raiders. I mean, they're what, 2-7 right now? Last year was the opposite. They were 7-2 at this point. What the fuck is wrong, Vegas? Jesus Christ. You talk about a year of opposites. Like the Raiders are bad, the Rams are bad, the defending world champs, the Bengals are up and down, and I guess you could say so are the Bills now. I mean, you know, they're 6-3, but we'll touch more on that later, but still. Yeah, Raiders suck. Eagles better fucking bounce back and whoop Indianapolis. Here we are, the silver game of Sunday. The Green Bay Packers coming from behind to stun the Cowboys 31-28 in overtime. And I think, like most everybody, I did not see the Packers winning this game. I didn't even see this game becoming a game. Like, I really thought Dallas was going to mop the floor with Green Bay. Of course, I kind of had a similar thought about the Eagles and the Commanders. Although that's, yeah, even though I did say earlier I thought I had a gut feeling it would be closer. But, ignore that. Yeah, honestly, I did not see this game being close. Like, with all the troubles the Packers have been having, I really thought Dallas would manhandle them. But I'm glad I was wrong. Sure, yeah, the Eagles may have suffered their first loss, but to be fair, difference between the Eagles getting upset and the Cowboys is that the Cowboys did it to themselves. Like they do every year. They fuck themselves over and fuck their fans over with their idiocy decision-making, Mike McCarthy. The Eagles just got plain fucked. Plain and simple. But let's delve a little deeper. So, I think Aaron Rodgers may have finally found himself a new target, and the rookie Christian Watson, who had a hat trick in receiving touchdowns, I picked his ass up for fantasy football out of free agency. I can't believe nobody didn't claim him yet. But the Packers rallied down from 14 in the fourth, so the Cowboys were essentially shut out in the fourth quarter as well as overtime. This snaps a 5-game losing skid for the Packers, but here's the real gem. It's the first time the Cowboys have lost a game leading by 14 in the fourth. They were 195-0 going into this game, having not lost games when they're up by 14 in the fourth. Oh, fucking beautiful. But I guess probably what it all boils down to is, what the fuck were they thinking? You were already in field goal range. Why didn't you just take the field goal? Like, I was honestly stunned. Well, you know what? I can't. I was honestly stunned, but not that stunned. You know, same thing with the Eagles and the Commanders. Stunned that they lost, but not as stunned as everybody else. So, same goes for the Cowboys. It's like, yeah, it's stunning that development happened, but, you know, it is Dallas. It's the Cowboys. It's McCarthy. Are we really that stunned? They did something stupid that fucked them over royally, ultimately, costing them the game? Are we that surprised? I don't think we should be. You know, Dallas fucking Cowboys finding ways to lose games and fuck their fans over since 1996. So we shouldn't be that surprised. But it's still surprising nonetheless. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah. The Cardinals beating the Rams 21-17 in a game that featured both teams with backup quarterbacks going because Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford were out with injuries. But Colt McCoy wins the battle over John Wolford. Unfortunately for both these teams, they have lost key players for the remainder of the season. Zach Ertz, tight end for the Cardinals, is out for the year, as is the Rams' Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp. Boy, and I was after Kupp for my fantasy team. Boy, am I glad I missed that, because now, that's going to fuck someone over royally. And man, what the fuck is wrong? Man, the Rams are a goddamn mess. Just, Jesus Christ. This is just the fucking cherry on top for that team. I mean, goddamn. Like, what is wrong with the Rams? Like, they had all their fucking pieces, well, except for Miller, but, you know, they had most of their pieces back from the Super Bowl run. So what the fuck? I guess they're paying their dues to the devil or something. And the Sunday night game, the 49ers beat the LA Chargers, coming from behind, actually, to do it 22-16. Don't really have anything noteworthy to talk about that game, but yeah, still. Oh, a lot of these games were fucking close. That is just so odd. You know? There was only one blowout throughout the entire weekend of NFL football. Like, how often are all the games that close to each other down to the wire? Just freaking crazy. But let me get another swig of water here so we can talk about the gold game, as I like to call it. The game of the year, everybody's calling it. The Minnesota Vikings coming from behind to stun the Buffalo Bills 33-30 in overtime. I mean, wow. Like, I couldn't believe what had played out in that fourth quarter alone. Just absolute fucking insanity. You know, like I said, the Bills, you know, they were up by 24-10 or something at the half. It looked like they were just going to take Minnesota to the woodshed. It was fucking insane. And then you see all this craziness happen, you know? Vikings coming back down from 17, cashing in on, unfortunately, most of the turnovers of all of them are counted against Allen. You know, 2 bad interceptions and, oh, Jesus God, that goal line fumble. What the fuck? But, oh, man. So, yeah, the Minnesota Vikings, like, total opposite from last year. Because let's not forget, the Vikings were in a lot of games like this last year that were close down to the wire. The only difference was they couldn't win any of those games. So that's why they missed the playoffs. This year, it's the opposite. They are winning these close games. And this is the 5th time this season that the Vikings have come from behind down in the, this is the 5th time the Vikings have come from behind when they're trailing with like 2.5 minutes to play. 5th time this season they've come from behind with, the ticker counting down. But Justin Jefferson, the Bills had no answer for. He is arguably the player of the week, as he had over 10 catches for 193 yards. But the one that stands out the most, the one that was on 4th and 18, the 32-yarder that he snagged one-handed, robbing it from the defender who was on top of him. So we all remember that one-handed catch Odell Beckham Jr. made years ago that was on the Madden cover. Justin Jefferson trumped that. He topped that emphatically. Like, that was probably the most amazing catch I had ever seen in my life. Like, just fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. And speaking of crazy shit, like, I didn't touch on this. This was in the, I think it was the Chiefs game. And shit, I wish I wrote the guy's name down. I think it was a rookie receiver for the Chiefs. While the ball's coming at him, he's like switching his gloves around or something and makes the freaking catch. What the hell was that all about? So, yeah, there was that craziness. But still, like Justin Jefferson, can he be up for like a league MVP? He should be in the running now after that kind of a day. Especially that catch alone. Just freaking nuts, man. 4th and 18. 32-yard grabber. That's like that's almost like right up there with the Eagles. Their playoff win against the Packers back in 2003. The 4th and 26 Freddie Mitchell catch. Well, the catch was nothing spectacular, not like Jefferson, but still, it was the distance they had to go. That's what I'm pointing out. Yeah, unfortunately, with everything that happened in the 4th quarter in Jefferson, Dalvin Cook kind of gets overlooked as he kind of sparked the Vikings' comeback with that 81-yard touchdown run late in the 3rd quarter. But, yeah. Still, though, like, even though, and still the funny, and still, like, the Vikings were driving, and you would think after making a spectacular catch like that, they would have scored the go-ahead. They would have scored the go-ahead touchdown. But the Bills' defense made a tremendous stand, turned them over on downs, and then probably the most unexpected, like right up there with the Russell Wilson INT goal line, the Russell Wilson goal line INT in the Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. Allen fumbling the snap. Like, I think even the Vikings were probably just as stunned. Like, you never expect that to happen. And when it does, you're like I literally, my jaw just, like, that did not just happen. Like, did he literally just fumble the fucking football in the fucking end zone? Did the Vikings really just score the go-aheads? Are the Bills about to lose this game on that fucking blunder? Are you fucking serious? But, to Allen's credit, the Bills came back, and they tied it up, and they sent it to overtime. And no, Gabe Davis's catch should not have counted. He did not maintain full possession, but it is what it is. Like I said, the officials, you can't count on them. You know, they're only accurate 89% of the time, and that's being generous. But after the Vikings take the lead in overtime, the Bills are driving again, and Allen just throws a poor pass that is picked off, sealing the deal, and the Vikings with the improbable win, now probably making them heavy on favorites to win the NFC. But still, what a fucking crazy game with a crazy finish. Wow. Whew. But, man, overall, if you're a Bills fan, you got to be concerned because, like, you now lost back-to-back games. You're, like, you've gone from first down to maybe, like, in the 5th seed. You've yet to win a game in your own division, and the Dolphins are looking damn good with Tagovailoa. So, yeah. I'm sure the Bills fans are, starting to bite the fingernails a little bit, thinking like, oh, come on, please. Like, don't do this. Like, you guys had such high expectations, high hopes, and it's all going to come unraveled before we even get to the fucking playoffs. Ugh. But, it is what it is. It's not like the Bills are losing to shit teams. The Dolphins are good, the Jets are good, and the Vikings are good. So it's not like the Bills have bad losses. Yes, I mean, Allen's turnover issues are a little concerning. Like, he has now turned the ball over in 8 of the last 9 games with 10 interceptions, 2 more than he had at this point last year, and 3 fumbles lost, which matches his total of last year. So, yeah, I think Allen needs to tighten up a little bit. Do a little soul searching there because that is concerning, to say the least. Oh, man, just crazy freaking week of NFL football. I fucking loved it. I wish all the fucking games were like that, where every single one of them was interesting. It's crazy. When's the last time we had a week like this in the NFL where literally every game was down to the wire and fucking interesting? Fucking insane, man. But yeah, am I concerned about my Eagles? Well, losing Goddard for a few weeks, that's going to hurt, but hopefully the rookie can step it up. I mean, the schedule's still in their favor. Like I said, I'm grateful for this loss now because that should piss them off and have them playing revenge football the rest of the way. So I better see a convincing performance over the Colts. The Eagles should come out on top of that. I'm going to say right now, 31-17, I think sounds reasonable. The New York Giants, they host the Detroit Lions. Oh my God, could this be the trap game for the Giants? I see it. I could totally see the Lions knocking them off. Probably won't happen because the Giants find crazy ways to win this year, but at the same time, wouldn't be surprised if it happened. The Lions are not that bad. They're not very good. I mean, as long as you play to your strengths and don't underestimate them, which I could so see the Giants doing. Like I said, the Commanders, they're playing the Texans, and you fuckers better win. You better fucking win now. Because if you turn around and fall flat on your face after beating my team, fuck you. And you'll get the double finger salute if you lose this weekend. And finally, the Cowboys are playing the Vikings. Wow. And you know what? Dallas is probably going to win. No, I'm serious. I hate that I'm saying that. But the Vikings are coming off a huge win, and the Cowboys are coming off a disappointing loss. So somebody's going to be playing pissed off, while the other team is going to be maybe just a little high off that huge win against what everyone thought was the potential AFC representative in the Super Bowl. It still could be. We still got a long ways to go, so who the hell knows? I'm still pulling for you, Buffalo. I really hope that the football gods, the fates that be, and I really hope the fans aren't hoping that we see a Bills-Vikings Super Bowl. That would be terrible. Because number one, you can't hate either team. Someone's got to be the villain in this. I mean, the Bills and the Vikings, both teams that are 0-4 overall in the Super Bowl. Who do I root for? I can't hate any of those teams. Us Eagles fans, we can relate with the Bills fans and the Vikings fans. Both two huge passionate fan bases who are forever haunted by playoff woes. Now for the Eagles, we finally got ours. They finally got their Super Bowl. But the Bills and the Vikings fans, they still got to live with 0-4. We cannot have a Vikings-Bills Super Bowl because that would just be terrible. Yes, one fan base is definitely going to get that win, but it's the other base that's got to deal with 0-5. We just can't have that happen because that'd be too fucking cruel. So let's see what happens. I don't know all the other matchups other than outside of the NFC East, but I'll tell you what, the NFC East and the AFC East, I really want to see all 8 of those teams make the playoffs because that would be fucking insane. But like I said, I don't see anyone stealing a playoff spot from the 49ers. They're another team that's playing good, scrappy football, and nobody's really giving them any respect. So watch out for San Francisco. The Thursday nighter, I know, is the Packers and the Titans, which is now interesting with Green Bay having saved their season. So I don't know who to pick for this one. Right off the bat, you'd think the Titans with Derrick Henry, but they got nothing else except maybe their defense. But Packers have the same thing working for them. Only now, maybe Rodgers and the offense are finally clicking. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see what happens for Week 11. I don't think it's going to top Week 10's performance. That's for damn sure. So that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say. Yes, the Eagles are unbeaten no more. It sucks, but, I think in the long run it was for the best. Now they can focus on the real prize. So, if you watched this video through and through, I thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll appreciate it. Or I'll just appreciate the fact that you actually watched it. Subscribe to my channel if you would. That'd be even more super. If you got some tidbits from me, I am more than happy to have some tidbits. Feed me some constructive criticism. Let me know how I can make this better and improve myself. So, I hope everyone has a good rest of your week. Let's have another good weekend of NFL football. And, I'll see if I can't do a video before Thanksgiving. I think it's going to be tough because I have to work the day before when I'm usually off. And I already know Thanksgiving's out of the question because that's going to be crazy as heck with family over. Maybe Black Friday? I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just try and get off my lazy ass and make the video as soon as we're done with the last game on Monday night. Who knows? We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving, have a happy Thanksgiving. Peace out.